welcome to today's lesson, which is addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. Now, I'm going to just do one quick question which isn't a mixed number, just in case you haven't seen the previous videos on adding normal fractions. So let's just have a little quick go at this first one here. So here we've got a fraction, and this fraction here is 3 over 4 plus 4 over 5. Now, the reason that I'm doing this first example, just to kind of get you back into the swing of things with it, is just to make sure that you know that you need to make sure that the denominators are the same when we're adding or subtracting. So we've got to find the lowest common multiple. So if I look at this one here, 4 and 5, well, the multiples of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. The multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. So both of these go into 20. So this one here, I'm going to times by 4 to get the denominator as 20. And this one here, I'm going to times by 5 and times by 5. So 5 times by 3 is equal to 15. 5 times by 4 is 20. Plus 4 times by 4, which is 16, over 5 times by 4, which is 20, there, like that. Now that we have the denominators the same, we can add these two things together. So when we add these together, remember the denominator, you've got 15 20ths plus 16 20ths. So when I add these together, it's going to be 15 plus 16. You can do that on the side if you want. So the 15 plus the 16 over here, 15 plus 16, 5 plus 6 is 11, carry the 1. So we end up with 1, 1, 3, 31. So this is equal to 31 over 20. Now notice that this question here says, give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. Okay, so if this is 2 marks, you're going to be getting 1 mark for getting this, and now we need to write it as a mixed number. So the question here is, and you might have seen this if you've seen the mixed numbers to improper fractions video. We say how many times does 20 go into 31 and what's left over. So 20 goes into 31, well, it'd be 20, 40, so it only goes in once. And what's left over? Well, 20, so it's going to be 10 to get to 30, so it's going to be 11 over 20. And there's the answer, okay? So we've done that one just to kind of just to get us back into the swing of things, just to get us thinking about making sure that we know how to do these. So let's just check our answer with that. Brilliant. And 1 and 11 over 20, that's absolutely perfect. Now it's worth noting that with these questions, when they come up, this is exactly how they come up in the GCSE. These questions here that I'm using today, all of them are actual Edexcel GCSE questions. Now they could be in OCR, they could be in AQA. These are actual questions that have come up, and this is exactly how they come up. It'll just be add these fractions or subtract these fractions. So let's have a look at another one. So our next one here is this one here. Now we're going to go straight into the adding the mixed numbers. So let's get this one down in our red book or in your book or in your notes to make sure that you are having a go at all of these, because remember, the only way to learn maths is to do it. So the first one here, example 1, I've got 1 and 2 over 3 plus 2 and 3 over 4. Now there are actually 2 ways of doing this, and I'm going to show you both of these ways. I'm going to show you one in red, and I'll show you one in a different colour. Or do you have to do it in black? So let's do red and black. So with our first method, now the first method is because these are holes, so this one here is a hole and this one here is a hole, you can just add these holes together, make sure the denominator is the same, and then figure out if you need to change it afterwards. So we can add the fractions, add the holes, and then we might need to change it because it might still be an improper fraction. So that's one method we're going to look at. The other method is converting it into an improper fraction first and then adding them. Now, if I'm honest, I prefer the first method. However, when we do subtracting, you have to use the second method. I always recommend using the second method for subtracting, so I am going to show you both. So the first one here, well, the first issue I've got is that I've got 3 and 4 as denominator. My denominators aren't the same, so I'm going to have to make the denominators the same. So my lowest common multiple here is, let's write this one out in red. So we've got 1 and 2/3, 2 and 3 and 4. So I need to make my denominators the same. So 3 and 4, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. They both go into 12. So 12, so times this one by 4, times by 4, times by 3, times by 3. I end up with 1 and 8 over 12 plus 2 and 9 over 12. Then my denominator's the same now. So the way I do this is you add the wholes together and add the fractions together. So 1 plus 2, 1 whole plus 2 wholes is 3 wholes. And then 8 over 12 plus 9 over 12. Well, 8 over 12 plus 9 over 12 is 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 over 12. Now, you might consider stopping there, but we do have an issue here. And the issue is that this is an improper fraction. That we still can't leave it like this because I've got 17 over 12. That's not a mixed number. So, to change this, we've got to see how many 12s go into 17 and what's left over. Now, if you're using this technique, there's only ever one usually that goes into this because of these two here are no bigger than half and half. We'll think about that at a different time. But how many times does 12 go into 17? Well, 12 goes into 17 once. So that's one extra hole I've got there. So my one extra hole needs to go on that 3. So I've got, instead of 3 here, I've got, well, let's light it this first. So I've got 3 holes. 12 into 17 is 1 hole. And what's left over there? Well, it's going to be 5 over 12. But this is 3 holes, and this is 1 hole, which is 4 holes and 5 over 12. Okay, I'd probably suggest doing this in one step, so just going from here to here. Okay, but I'm just wanted to show you that this 17 over 12 is 1 and 5 over 12, and then I've got the 3, which is 4. So 4 holes and 5 over 12. So that was my first technique. My second technique now is to write them as a top-heavy fraction first. Now, some people prefer this method. I prefer this technique when I'm adding, but we do need to use this other technique when we're subtracting. You'll see what I mean in a second. So, if I'm going to do it the other way, so 1 and 2 over 3 plus 2 and 3 over 4. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to write these both as top-heavy fractions. So 1 times 3 plus 2. So 1 times 3. So that's how we convert them. So I've got 1 whole written as a third. So 1 times 3 is equal to 3 plus the 2 is 5 over 3. Plus 2 times 4 is 8 plus the 3, which is equal to, so 2 times 4 is 8 plus the 3, which is 11 over 4. Okay. Then we need to make the denominators the same. So times by 3, times by 3, times by 4, times by 4. So 5 times by 4 is 20 over 12, plus 3 times by that is 33 over 12. We add these together. So 20 plus 33 is at 53 over 12. Now, the reason this one's a little bit trickier is because usually we have kind of bigger numbers here, and that's when it gets a little bit trickier. But this is now written as a top-heavy fraction, but again, we need to make sure that we're writing as a mixed number. So how many times does 12 go into 53, and what's left over? So it's going to be 12, 24, 36, 48, so it goes in 4 times, very similar to this. And from 48, what's left over? Well, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. So I've got 5 left over, so 5 over 12. It's exactly the same as what I had here, okay? So that's that question done. Now, I've used both techniques for that, okay? You can use either of those techniques. Make sure you get both down in your book because you will be expected to use this when we're doing subtraction. Okay, so let's have a look. So there's the answer for that one. So let's have a look at another one of these. So, with this one here, I'm just going to do this one really quickly. I'm going to use the first technique. So make sure you're getting this down in your notes. Remember, the only way to learn maths is to do it. So 2 and 1/7 plus 1 and 1 over 4. So first of all, I need to make sure that my denominator is the same. So what goes into 7 and 4? Okay, so 7, 14, 21, 28. So 4 goes into 28. So 4 times. So 28 is the one they're going to both go into. So I'm going to times this one by 4, times by 4, times by 7, times by 7. Remember, we're only timesing the fraction here. So it's going to be 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 7 times 4 is 28, that's what we just worked out, plus 1 and 7 over 28. So now we can add these fractions together. So we add the whole numbers first. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 4 plus 7 is 11 over 28. Now notice with this one, we actually don't need to convert it because this is actually a normal fraction, so it's not a top-heavy fraction, so we can just leave that like that, and that's why this one's only 2 marks. So, brilliant. Make sure you get that down in your red book or in your notes. That's example 2. So, there's your answer there. So let's just do one more of these. And then we'll have a little look at subtracting. So it might be worth having a pause of this. So maybe pause now, have a go at this one yourself. So I'll make it big for you so you can see it. Pause now, have a go at that one yourself. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at that. I'm just going to show you how to do it quite quickly. So this one here is example 3. It's probably worth getting this in your notes as well. So it's 2 and 3 over 4 plus 3 and 2 over 3. Notice this is 3 marks. This is exactly how it came up in the GCSE. So here we need to make sure our denominator is the same. So 4 and 3, so it's going to be 12. So times by 3, times by 3, times by 4, times by 4. So here we've got 2, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12. So here we've got, add the whole numbers first, so 2 plus 3, which is 5, 9 plus 8, so that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so 17 over 12. Now this one here is top heavy, so we need to make sure we add that extra whole we've got in there onto this 5. So how many times does 12 go into 17? It goes in once, and what's left over? So this extra whole here is going to go onto this 5, and that's going to become 6 wholes, and then I've got 5 over 12 left over. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 left over. Brilliant. So that was 3 marks. Okay, that's exactly how it came up in the GCSE. So let's have a look now. In fact, you can see the mark scheme there if you want. So let's have a little look now at subtraction. Okay, now we're going to have a go at this one here. I'm going to show you the reason. I mean, there is a way to do that first technique by borrowing, but the second technique where we've got to convert both of these is the best technique for this. Now you are going to need this one in your notes. So this one here is example 4. Remember to make sure you're getting these in the notes. The only way to learn maths is to do it. So 3 and 2 over 5 minus 1 and 2 over 3. Now, let me show you the problem with this if we use the first technique, the one I've just used. So denominators need to be the same first of all. So I need to make the denominator the same. So it's going to be 5, 10, 15. So it's going to be 15. So 3 times by 3 times by 3 times by 5 times by 5. So 2 times by 3 is 6 over 5 times 3, which is 15, minus 1 over 10 over 15. Now I can subtract this one here. So 3 take away 1 is 2. But the problem I've got is that 6 over 15, take away 10 over 15. Well, 6 take away 10 is going to be minus 4. Now, you can borrow from this and deal with it first of all, but it's best to use. So it's better to use the technique where we convert it, so that second technique, where we convert it into top heavy first. So here we got 3 and 2 over 5 minus 1 and 2 over 3. So it's always worth using the second technique when we're subtracting. Okay, a lot of people make a mistake with that. So times by, first of all, we need to make it into top heavy. So 3 times by 5 plus the 2. So 3 times by 5 is 15, plus the 2 is equal to 17 over 5, minus 1 times 3 is 3, plus the 2 is equal to 5 over 3. So now we've got it as a top heavy. We can make the denominator the same. So times by 5, times by 5, times by 3, times by 3. So this is why this one's a little bit tricky, because you've got these weird multiplications like 3 times by 17. I'm just going to do it on the side over here. So 17 times by 3. So 3 times by 7 is 21. 3 times by 1 is 3. And the 2 is 51. So here I'm going to end up with 51 over 15. Subtract 5 times by 5 is 25 over 3 times by 5, which is the 15. So the denominator is now the same. And now I've got to subtract these. So 51 over 15. Take away 25 over 15. So I've got to do the 51. Take away the 25. So let's borrow from that. It's going to become 4. So 11 take away 5 is 6. 4 take away 2 is 2. So I end up with 26 over 15. But we're going to write it as a mixed number. So how many times does 15 go into 26? Well, 15, 30, so it only goes in once. So it's going to go in one time. And how many is left over? Well, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So it's going to be 11 over 15. And that's that answer done. Now that is tricky. I'll be honest, a lot of people really struggle with that. So make sure you take your time. Make sure you're thinking about the way that I'm doing this. We're converting it into top heavy first. We're then making the denominator the same. Then we're subtracting. Then we're writing as a mixed number. This is 3 marks. This comes up. It comes up in like kind of the middle-ish, or like just before the middle of the higher paper. It's not an easy question. So don't just think because it's fractions it's easy, and because it's so standard it's easy. This is worth 3 marks at GCSE. Okay, so let's have a look at there's the answer for that one. Let's have a look at another one of these. Now this one's a little bit easier. You'll see why in a second. So this one here is example 5 now. Example 5. Remember to get this in your notes. So 2 and 7 over 15 minus 1 and 2 over 3. I'm going to make the denominator the same first. So 2 times by 15 is 30 plus the 7 is 37 over 15 minus 1 times by 3 is 3 plus the 2 is 5 over 3. So it's a little bit easier because 3 goes into 15, so I only need to change this side, which is times by 5. So I end up with 37 over 15 minus 25 over 15. I'm going to use the side for this. So 37 take away 25. You might be able to do it on your head. 7 take away 5 is 2. 3 take away 2 is 1. So I end up with 12 over 15. So we need to make sure that I am simplifying this. So let's simplify this now. So it's going to be 12 over 15. So what goes into both of those? So 3 goes into both of those. So 3, 6, 9, 12. It's going to be 4 over 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 over 5. Brilliant. That's the final answer, 4 over 5. So I'm going to put this one up. I want you to have a little go at that one yourself. So have a go at that one first. Pause now and have a go at that one yourself. Okay, I'm going to have a go at some of these now. So this is example 6. This will be the last example before I let you set you off on some. So 5 and 1 over 4 minus 1 and 2 over 3. So 5 times by 4 is 20, plus the 1 is 21 over 4, minus 1 times by 3 is 3, plus the 2, it seems to always be this actually, 1 times by 3 is 3, plus the 2 is 5 over 3. So times by 3, times by 3, times by 4, times by 4. So 3 times by 21, I'll do that on the side. 3 times by 1 is 3, 3 times by 2 is 6. So that's 63 over 12, minus 5 times by 4 is 20 over 12. 63 take away 20 is 43 over 12. So it wants it as a mixed number in its simplest form. So that means I need to see how many times 12 goes into 43 and what's left over. So 12, 24, 36. So that's going to be equal to 36, 3, and how do I get from 36? So 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So that's going to be 7, 3 and 7 over 12, like so. Brilliant. So let's just check that answer, make sure you got it right. 3 and 7 over 12. Brilliant. Okay, so let's have a go at some of these yourself. So let's get this up. So pause now and have a go at some of these yourself. I have put some of these simpler ones in the first one in case you wanted to practice that, but it should just be the second or the third row. Pause these. Remember, the only way to learn maths is to do it. So pause this and have a go. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at those. I'm going to scroll up now so you can see the answers. So mark these in green pen. Mark those in green pen. So, thank you for watching this video on addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. Remember to make sure you're having a go at all of these questions. So the only way to learn maths is to do it, and have a lovely day.